This is the Bleeding Yankee Blue Reaction Podcast, discussing and debating BYB. This is episode 1.
Oh man, it has been quite a week.
Seriously. I mean, imagine watching this pristine, multi-million-dollar Ferrari, right, just sitting in the garage, literally collecting dust because the owner is completely, terrified of taking it out and scratching the paint.
Terrified, yeah.
That is exactly what watching the New York Yankees feels like right now. And, if you're tuning into this deep dive with us, you already know the stakes here.
Oh, you absolutely know.
Right. Today, we are tearing into these boiling hot takes straight from Robert Casey's latest articles on Bleeding Yankee Blue from August 1st and 2nd, 2026.
The breaking point articles, basically.
Exactly. And if you bleed pinstripes, your blood pressure has probably been testing the absolute limits of human endurance lately. Because we are exploring this one massive, completely unavoidable central theme today, which is the paralysis of potential versus the sheer, unadulterated desperation of winning right now.
Because right now, you are looking at a franchise that is just fundamentally at war with its own philosophy. I mean, it's wild. You have a pitching staff throwing absolute gems.
Historic stretches, honestly.
Right, historic stretches. And it is being completely wasted by an offense that, frankly, couldn't buy a single run with a blank check.
It's agonizing to watch.
It really is. So we are breaking down how that front office paralysis has just infected everything, from the shortstop position to the initial trade deadline strategy, and then how sheer desperation finally mercifully forced this massive course correction.
Exactly. So, if you've been pulling your hair out every single night watching this lineup just strand runners on base, pull up a bar stool next to us.
You're in good company.
Yeah, let's start with that Ferrari in the garage. But in this case, the Ferrari has a completely sputtering engine, and the front office just refuses to take it to the mechanic.
Which brings us to shortstop.
Right. We have to talk about the subtraction that Bleeding Yankee Blue is practically begging for at this point.
Yeah.
You cannot fix this broken offense without addressing the black hole that is formed at shortstop.
You just can't.
Robert Casey has officially reached his breaking point with Anthony Volpe. And honestly, I mean, if you're watching these games, how can you blame him?
You really can't blame him at all. The narrative that's been sort of spoon-fed to the fan base for years now has been, patience.
Always
The
patience.
script was always, oh, he's only 25 years old. The flashes of brilliance are there. But Casey is aggressively pointing out what we are all seeing on the field every single night.
The defensive miscues.
Yes, the defensive miscues are piling up at the literal worst possible moments, and the bat has it's never become the weapon the Yankees projected it to be.
Never.
But the real issue Casey hammers home, it isn't just the lack of a reliable bat, it's the whole culture surrounding the player.
Ugh, the culture aspect is so infuriating. Casey mentions that deeply frustrating perception that Volpe was just babied by the organization.
Yeah, the scout connection.
Right, that a Yankee scout, quote-unquote, knew him growing up, and it morphed into this totally toxic situation of who you know versus what you earn.
Which is dangerous for a clubhouse.
It's incredibly dangerous. When you cross that line on a team built to win World Series titles, you lose the clubhouse and you definitely lose the fan base. It feels like the ultimate sunk cost fallacy happening in real time.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second.
Yeah.
We are holding on to Volpe like a depreciating stock purely out of nostalgia. It feels like Brian Cashman is hoarding a player simply because he is terrified of the PR hit of watching Volpe succeed on someone else's team.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fear, right? That is not a strategy.
I hear the stock market analogy, I do, but I actually have to push back on that a little bit.
Oh, really? Why?
Because a stock does not have an expiration date. You can hold a stock forever if you want to. Baseball has a very strict ticking clock.
Ah, okay. The prime window.
Exactly. Aaron Judge's prime is the closing bell for this franchise, and the front office has just been refusing to sell their depreciating assets to maximize this current window. You cannot hoard potential when your superstars are in their prime and demanding rings.
That is a completely fair point.
And what is significant right now, what Casey is highlighting, is that the tide has completely turned. Legitimate baseball insiders are openly validating this take.
Media's turning on him.
Right. They are openly talking about trading Volpe before his value tanks completely to zero.
Yes. It is no longer just, fans venting on sports radio after a loss. You have Chris Kirshner at The Athletic calling Volpe a highly logical trade chip.
Which is a huge shift.
Huge. And Devin Platana says he could literally be the first guy to go in a major roster shakeup.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Garcia is reporting that rival clubs actually still want him because, he's young and he is cheap.
Which is precisely the mechanical lever the Yankees need to pull right now. You leverage the illusion of potential while it still actually holds value for other organizations.
Let someone else fix him.
Exactly. Another front office might look at Volpe's pedigree and think, oh, a change of scenery and our coaching staff will unlock the player he was projected to be. If you are the Yankees, you capitalize on that hubris.
Right.
Think about the mechanics of the trade scenario Jim Bowden floated recently, packaging Volpe and reliever Camilo Doval to the Minnesota Twins for catcher Ryan Jeffers.
Oh, see, a trade like that fundamentally changes the entire structure of the lineup.
It absolutely does.
We all know catcher has been a complete offensive black hole for New York. Acquiring Jeffers just solves a glaring immediate positional need. But then there are those pipe dream rumors, right? The ones Casey calls a dream statement move.
Oh, like going after C.J. Abrams.
Yes. C.J. Abrams from the Nationals, an all-star with game-changing speed and legitimate power. Or, Tyler Stevenson from the Reds, who is another proven offensive catcher.
Exactly. You are trading a blocked asset for a proven commodity. And honestly, we haven't even touched on the ultimate reason Volpe is structurally expendable right now.
George Lombard Jr.
George Lombard Jr. He is absolutely tearing it up in the minor leagues. And there is a massive growing consensus that he is the actual future at shortstop for this franchise.
Which begs the question, why wait?
Right. If the front office genuinely believes Lombard Jr. is the guy, why keep forcing Volpe into a role he just hasn't fully claimed? I mean, admitting you were wrong about a highly touted top prospect is arguably the hardest, most pride-swallowing move for a general manager to make.
Oh, Cashman hates doing it.
He does, but in this league, it's often the smartest one.
It really is. But, that intense fear of letting go of Volpe isn't just an isolated incident. It is the exact same paralyzing disease that infected Brian Cashman's initial approach to this trade deadline.
Oh, man, the early deadline moves.
Yeah.
Huh.
If you were screaming at your television over the last week, you are fully 100% justified. The disparity on this roster right now is mathematically absurd. Listen to this stat. Over a recent 5-game stretch, the starting pitchers gave up a total of 2 earned runs.
2 runs.
2 runs in 5 days. And the team went 2-3.
That completely breaks the fundamental math of baseball. I mean, if your rotation gives up 2 earned runs in 5 days, you should be undefeated.
You would be sweeping everyone.
Exactly. The psychological toll that takes on a pitching staff is immense. They go to the mound knowing they have to be absolutely perfect because the offense is just running on fumes.
Fumes is a very generous word, honestly. Look at the injury report. Aaron Judge is hurt. Cody Bellinger is on the IL. Giancarlo Stanton is still working his way back and remains totally unavailable.
The core of the lineup is just gone.
Completely gone. With those 3 out, we are seeing exactly what this lineup is underneath the superstars, and it is terrifying. The team is quite literally starving for runs.
Starving.
And while the Yankees are scrounging for crumbs, look at what the competitors are doing. The Dodgers go out and they trade for Tarek Skubal, a back-to-back Cy Young winner.
Unbelievable.
And they just casually add him to a rotation that already features Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Tyler Glasnow. Even the Braves went out and proactively got Lane Thomas.
This is where you see the stark, unavoidable contrast in organizational philosophies. I mean, the Dodgers operate with ruthless efficiency.
They really do.
They identify the absolute peak of elite talent, and they acquire it. Winning right now is the only metric they care about. Cashman, historically and definitely initially at this deadline, operates as if he is eternally protecting the farm system for this magical future that never actually arrives.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though.
Yeah.
Is Cashman playing some kind of 3D chess here, or is he just completely asleep at the wheel while the Dodgers are playing Monopoly with Cy Young winners?
Definitely asleep at the wheel.
Because his early move, the big initial splash to fix the team, was trading Camilo Doval to Pittsburgh for 2 completely anonymous prospects. Bleeding Yankee Blue perfectly described it as getting Gugats.
It was absolutely Ugats, and it's worse than being asleep, honestly. It is a fundamental flaw in roster-building philosophy.
Also,
Well, the Yankees built a lineup that looked incredibly powerful on paper, right? But mechanically, it was precariously dependent on Aaron Judge staying perfectly healthy.
oh yeah, everything revolves around him.
When you build a house where removing one single load-bearing pillar causes the entire structure to instantly collapse, that is not bad luck. That is bad architecture.
Bad architecture. Wow. The second Judge went down, the whole house of cards folded.
Precisely, because There was zero secondary plan. The offense died because Cashman just refuses to part with top-tier prospects for proven, elite major league talent while the team is squarely in a win-now window.
Right.
He views prospects as this sort of shield against criticism, whereas a team like the Dodgers views prospects purely as currency to buy championships.
It's maddening. It really is. But in the spirit of fairness to the front office and because the superstar market moves at lightning speed, Robert Casey did point out a highly logical target.
He did.
A move that would provide desperately needed outfield athleticism without completely emptying that precious farm system Cashman loves so much. Though I have to say, it does feed directly into one of Cashman's weirdest obsessions.
Ah, yes. The bizarre Colorado Rockies collection.
Seriously, what is with this hobby? DJ LeMahieu, Adam Ottavino, Ryan McMahon, Jake Bird, Angel Schiavelli. It is like Cashman collects former Rockies players like vintage baseball cards.
It is a very specific, weird niche.
Very weird.
Yeah.
But Casey brings up Mickey Moniak. He's 28 years old, a former #1 overall draft pick, and he finally seems to be figuring it out at the major league level.
The underlying mechanics of Moniak's season are genuinely compelling, though. We aren't just talking about a guy getting lucky for a few weeks in July.
No, the stats back it up.
They do. In 71 games, Moniak is slashing .279 with a .322 on-base percentage and a massive .561 slugging percentage. He has 17 home runs and an OPS well over .880.
And before you yell at your speakers about, Coors Field smoke and mirrors, Casey made sure to know that the bat speed and the underlying tower metrics are completely real.
They travel. The power travels.
Right. He hits from the left side, he plays all 3 outfield spots, and he's under team control through all of next season. Plus, he wouldn't cost a king's ransom in prospects. So how do you evaluate this? Is Moniak just another shiny object for Cashman's weird Rockies display case? Or is this the exact kind of unglamorous duct tape fix that actually stabilizes a roster and wins you a World Series?
Honestly, I would argue it is a brilliant organizational strategy.
Really? The duct tape?
Yeah, it is the ultimate duct tape fix in the best way possible. Look, not every single trade at the deadline has to be a Juan Soto-level blockbuster that breaks the internet.
It's true.
If you look at the mechanics of player development, it is almost never a straight line. When you carry the immense psychological weight of being a #1 overall pick, sometimes it takes a change of scenery and a few years of failure to finally strip away that pressure.
And Moniak seems to have done that.
He has clearly retooled his approach. He fills the exact left-handed athletic void the Yankees have in the outfield right now.
Yeah.
It is smart, targeted, sustainable roster building.
I mean, I love a smart under-the-radar move as much as anyone, but come on. We are the New York Yankees.
Yeah, the expectations are different.
Very different. You can only ignore a starving lineup for so long before you just have to order a massive expensive steak. You cannot survive on duct tape forever when the foundation is cracking. And finally, mercifully, Brian Cashman woke up from his nap and realized the house was burning down.
The Luis Garcia Jr. blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
This is the exact moment the deadline shifted for New York, and it is the moment the front office finally admitted their initial roster construction had totally failed.
It really was.
Yeah.
The rumors started swirling heavily that Cashman was aggressively pushing for the National slugger, dangling pitching prospect Jack Siebert on the
It
table.
was a surprise in itself.
Yeah, and then boom, it broke. Joel Sherman, Jeff Passan, Bob Nightingale, Spencer Nussbaum, everyone was reporting it. The Yankees actually pulled it off.
But the cost.
The prospect cost was a massive haul. Right-handers Giovanni Cruz, Jack Siebert, Ben Grable, and Jake Bird are all packing their bags for Washington.
Sending 4 pitching prospects for 1 bat is a massive, shocking departure from Cashman's usual hoarding instincts.
It's unheard of for him lately.
But look at the sheer offensive production you are acquiring. Garcia is having an absolute career year. He is currently leading the entire American League with a .560 slugging percentage.
.560. That is insane.
23 home runs, 76 RBIs. That is elite, undeniable, middle-of-the-order run production.
It is. But structurally, you have to admit, it is a really weird fit on paper.
Oh, it's clunky.
Very clunky. Garcia is a lefty, and he primarily plays first base. The Yankees already have Ben Rice and Paul Goldschmidt sharing duties at first. It's like buying a third sofa for your living room just because you desperately needed a place to sit.
It's one way to look at it.
Right. You don't care if the room's symmetry is completely thrown off, then your team is struggling to score 2 runs a game. You just need a bat.
Well, I am going to stop you on the sofa analogy because I actually strongly disagree with that framing.
Really?
Yeah, it is not like buying a third sofa. It is like buying a massive sledgehammer when you actually needed a scalpel. Yes, Garcia provides instant, heavy-hitting offense, but you are creating a massive defensive logjam. You are forcing guys out of their natural positions, you're disrupting the infield defense, and you're pushing highly capable players onto the bench.
Which is a huge risk.
It is. However, when you are in the kind of suffocating offensive freefall the Yankees are currently in, you no longer have the luxury of perfectly symmetric roster design.
Exactly. You just swing the sledgehammer and worry about the drywall later.
You do. Because the quote-unquote action aspect of this trade is arguably just as important as Garcia's slugging percentage.
The message it sends.
Yes. When a clubhouse is suffocating and the players are literally watching the Dodgers add Cy Young winners, morale plummets. When the front office suddenly trades 4 pitching prospects to bring in the guy leading the AL in slugging, it sends a psychological shockwave through that room.
It wakes everyone up.
It's a tacit admission of failure from earlier in the year, absolutely.
Mhm.
But it is a highly proactive, aggressive correction that screams to the team and the fans, we are not punting this season, we are going for it.
Man, what a wild, exhausting swing of emotions it has been for Yankees fans over just a few days.
Whiplash, honestly.
Total whiplash.
Yeah.
You go from wanting to launch Anthony Volpe into the sun because of defensive miscues to tearing your hair out, watching the Dodgers casually add Tarek Skubal to an already loaded rotation.
And then the high of the trade.
Right. Finally feeling that massive rush of adrenaline when Cashman lands a legitimate run producer in Luis Garcia Jr.
It perfectly encapsulates the entire Bleeding Yankee Blue news cycle. I mean, the agonizing lows, the intense scrutiny of every single front office decision, and the desperate highs of a blockbuster trade.
It really does. So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you, the listener, with something to really chew on as you watch Garcia step into the box in pinstripes.
It's a big question.
It is. If Luis Garcia Jr. comes in, hits the cover off the ball, and actually ends up saving this 2026 season for the Yankees, does that actually validate Brian Cashman's chaotic wait-until-the-last-second deadline strategy?
Or does it just hide the real issue?
Right. Does a massive sledgehammer trade just temporarily paper over a fundamentally flawed philosophy of prospect hoarding? And think about this, too. If George Lombard Jr. does eventually come up and replace Volpe, are the Yankees destined to just repeat this exact same cycle of overhyping a kid, refusing to adapt, and panicking all over again 3 years from now?
Time will tell.
This is the Bleeding Yankee Blue Reaction Podcast. Thanks for listening.